Mask Cowboy, welcome to the Iron Man podcast. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. It is an honor to be here.
Well, you're calling all the way from Mississippi, am I right?
Mississippi, yes, sir. The M-I crooked letter I.
It's a state that I would love to go to. It's a place I'd love to visit. I keep seeing all these amazing videos and, the whole cowboy thing. It's appealing.
Hey, we'll welcome you with open arms.
So before I get into lots of music and all these things that are happening and bouncing all over the place right now, I'm going to ask you probably what everyone else is thinking, and that is, let's get to the story behind this mask, because
All right.
it's unusual. Let's be honest, not every time you see a cowboy's wearing a mask, unless it's maybe going into some bank somewhere. So let's
Hey, no face, no case, man. Hey.
I love
no
that.
face, no case. No, man, I wanted to protect my identity, for one. I wanted to have fun with it. I wanted to be myself. And you read stories about celebrities and stuff, like getting attacked. I'm like, man, if I was to ever, be overly stimulated with success, it's more of a protection for my family, but also a good marketing strategy. Cause I was like, what's different? You put me on stage with 75 other country rap singers, on a stage at Nashville. I'm going to be the one that stands out. I was trying to stand out. That was a big purpose behind it, but mostly, man, just to be able to live a normal life outside of everything else.
Let me get to, your background, Ski Mask, if you don't mind me asking. You come from a background in Mississippi. I know you a little bit better than the people that are going to be watching this or listening to your interview. So I have some advantages here. But
okay.
For you, being in Mississippi, was it a challenge to take up rap music? Was that, even though it's country rap, was that a challenge? Was that something that, because I guess most people over here look at Mississippi's in the South, and, country, really is quite, quite hard on any kind of music that's not really in that vein. Was it difficult for you to go down that line?
It was. Man, I adapted to the hip hop side of music at an early age, man. My mom, she used to listen to 69 Boys, 2 Live Crew, Beastie Boys. So I was kind of, on my mom's side, I was kind of raised in that little hip hop. And then I get into the famous, everybody got into Eminem. I got into 3 6 Mafia, Paul Wall, like Outkast, mostly like the Southern rappers.
Yeah.
And because it was more relatable. And far as me, man, I used to write rhymes in high school. Man, I remember being in the 9th grade in English class, just writing rhymes. And my best friend's like, what you writing now? I was like, another song. To this, I couldn't tell you what it sounded like or what, even if it made any sense. No. But it was just the art behind it. And man, like whenever I first started doing the music, still to this day, I struggle with Mississippi, man. They're just, hip hop has come a long way.
Yeah.
And it's really, and I gotta give a shout out to, like Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll was a rapper. And then he turned country. So he kind of helped evolve a little bit here lately, like with people. Like I have people in my family that would never listen to rap music, but they jam in Jelly Roll. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, it's kind of evolving around. But man, we've always had like 3 6 Mafia, Lil White, Yellow Wolf, the kind of like the Slamerican kind of Rhine Up church, you know. So we've had it, and everybody knows who Outkast is.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think of a rapper, I think of like when they first started, like Outkast when they first started. And then they kind of went a little pop and got some mainstream stuff. So everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I love Outkast," but y'all don't know the start of Outkast. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And I get deep into that. Like I
And,
like
and,
to,
and I mean, Outcast, I mean, from memory, I mean, I'm going off memory here. You just mentioned Outcast, but I think they were produced by Organized Noise or something,
yeah, I believe so.
and they were produced. They recorded in a basement somewhere in Atlanta, and they recorded all the music
Yep.
there. And I think that's the thing. I mean, what people don't realize is the organic nature of what rap music is. I mean, when I started with rap music, I mean, I go right back to the very beginning of it, because the story was rap with me was that the movie Beat Street came out, and Beat Street came out slightly before the movie Breakdance came out. In fact, the first movie that came out was called Wild Style, but then it became Beat Street, and then it became Breakdance.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I saw that for the first time, and I saw everyone fighting in the school and fighting in the streets, and we had football casuals and punks and this and this and this. And within 6 months of all this fighting and all of these street fights and one village fighting another village and all the kids fighting each other, it went from that to someone had the ghetto blaster, and the same kids would go to the next village, they'd put the ghetto blaster in the square, and they'd
Yeah.
have a breakdancing competition, and whoever won the breakdancing competition, that was it. They got the bragging rights.
Yeah.
But there was no fight after that point. And it was,
Yeah.
and I watched the whole country change over a period of time. And I of course, was one of those breakdancers. And I won the Scottish Championship when I was like maybe, I think I was 14 years old or something. And I just loved hip hop. I loved the whole groove and all those records popping. And then I think that was the thing. But it was an organic. This came from breaks. I mean, hip hop really, and breakdance and graffiti and all of those kinds of things all sort of started around about the same time, and it all came from these breaks, with the early DJs, Cool DJ Herc, and all these guys
Yeah.
that came out with the breaks, and Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel and all these kind of guys, and so you listen to it and you go, that is what it stemmed from. What it's grown into organically, I think the negative press came from the kind of early gangster rap, because that created this violent mentality again.
NWA and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like that too. Don't get me wrong, I like listening to that too. And but that was where it came from, and then there was this kind of persona, or rap is associated purely and utterly with gang and gang orientated, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
And of course, this is a European mentality. I'm not saying it's a US mentality, but from that perspective. And now I think rap is evolving again from, you had your East Coast versus the West Coast.
Okay. Yeah.
And there wasn't really a South Coast in that mix at that time. It was always, the conversation was always East Coast versus West Coast. Yeah, and South Coast never really had a game or a player or whatever in the game, even though there was some people doing it. It wasn't as mainstream. And then, and that's the thing that interested me, was because, I guess when I listen to your music and I listen to your vibe, you're coming and you're fighting for and talking about your life and your experiences and your surroundings and what matters to you and your morals and your ethics, and I think it's an amazing thing. So I'm very, very curious to see, you know, you mentioned some of the influencers that you had, but I mean, now, do you think that the music has changed in a more positive light than it had done before?
Yeah, definitely. It's in hip hop, man. Sometimes I think hip hop needs more than just one genre
Yeah,
because there's so much. You got what they call emo rap now, and I love that. I love Juice World. You know what I'm saying? I love the storytelling of music.
mm,
And the good thing about hip hop is you can tell a sad story but still get somebody to move to it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can tell a sad story through a uplifting instrumental.
mm.
And that's what drew me to hip hop was just the way that you can move. But today it's gotten a lot better. It's not so much, like it was East Coast, West Coast. It's kind of evolved together and kind of reunited, and it's still violent. Uh-oh, sorry about that.
That's okay. That's an outtake. It's still violent. Wow.
Yeah. uh, I mean, there's still, there's still drug references and, violence references. But it's weird how it's more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like everybody now, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not
Yeah,
like back.
yeah. I mean, there seems to be more of a congregation, of a community vibe about hip hop than there was. I mean, I think that's and I think that's a really positive. I mean, I think if you take some major players, not mentioning any names, but some of the negative forces of the past have been removed from hip hop.
Yeah,
It's allowed the creativity to grow as well, and allowed the speaking word to grow. And I think
definitely.
so.
And
How did you get your? Let's talk about your moments, because you become a rapper. You're in Mississippi. Yeah. How do you get your first record out? What happens? What's your first moment in that process? How did you get that deal? What did you do?
man, so I'm gonna tell a story a lot of people don't know about me. When I was younger, I started off on acoustic guitar singer-songwriting. I remember recording to a Dell monitor and remember on the Dell computers, a little bitty microphone, it was on like a long stick.
Yeah.
I remember recording like me almost eating the guitar and recording in that little bitty mic on a little bitty record. Man, I'd put that shit on a CD and man, it sounds horrible. But I got into that, and then I joined a band in high school and I played bass for a little while. And bass, I love bass because it's rhythm. And so whenever I was like 15 or 16, I really started diving into hip hop and started writing. I'm not gonna say they were the best, but I started doing mixtapes. Take somebody else's beat and put my own rap to it. And man, I put it on. I think YouTube was starting to get big then, and I was putting these little things on YouTube and MySpace. MySpace was the ticket back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I built this big, nice profile on MySpace, and I created a little buzz. I did a song for a college that created a little buzz for me. But I just kept evolving, and over the years, just taught myself to get better, get better, get better. And I'm gonna say back in them days, I was more strictly hip hop than country rap.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, a few records that you made some nice videos for are on YouTube that people can see.
Everything is bright like a city right now. Expansion of the mind, feeling hippie right now. I'm so high, talking Willie right now, yeah. Feeling in my body, so relaxed, I might kick it like a Roddy. I'm so low, Maserati, got me higher than the Rockies. I've been flipping patties, gold tops are in a bloom. I just left this earth and now I'm headed to the moon. Blended with the tea and now I'm floating like balloons. Everything's so beautiful when you on the shrooms. It's beautiful, it's magic. Psychedelics got me feeling geographic. I'm so zoned like I'm looking down the aisle.
That you've done in the past. I mean, you've worked with Afro Man. So let's talk about the story with Afro Man then. I mean, you're a guy from Mississippi. You're ski mask cowboy. Probably the least suspect person that's going to work with Afro Man, I would have thought at that time. How did that happen?
Man, so Afro Man moved. I'm going to tell like a little base story, like when we first met, because I love telling this story, man, because it's so like inspiring. And at the same time, it's kind of weird. Like what would, so Afro Man moved from Palmdale, California to his father who lived in Mississippi. Afro Man started making music and putting it out in Mississippi. And I remember him walking up to me in Turtle Creek Mall in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And it's like, hey, youngster, you want to buy a CD? And I was like, yeah. I was 11. So I had to go ask my mom for some money to buy a CD. I bought a CD because my mom was cool about it. She listened to all that stuff. And man, I remember putting it in and it was boom, dum, 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 because I got high and I was like, oh man. So he's a big inspiration to me, at that point in my life. And then fast forward, I make this record and it's called Winter Nights, about smoking, drinking, have a good time by the fire. And I was going to DM Afro Man. And but I was like, you know what, let me do this professional way. Let me reach out to his management. I reached out to his management. Shout out to Josh, man. I love that dude. And he loved the song.
Big shout out to Josh. Love Josh.
Yeah, big shout out to Josh, man. We love you, dog. And man, he heard the song, loved it. He was like, hey man, let's make this work, And next thing I know, he's like, hey, you want to do a show? And I was like, yeah, I'll do a show. And then I did a show and he was like, hey, we really like your performance. We really like your music. So do you want to do more? And then I end up on tour with him in a part of the country I never thought I'd get to see, in California. And man, I loved it. Afro Man's a really, really nice, humble dude. I gotta shout out him and thank him for giving me the opportunity. And not only that, but like during his set, while he's performing on stage during his set, he always, y'all welcome Ski Mask Cowboy. We got this new song, Winter Nights. Man, that right there means the world to me, for him to take a little bit of time of his set and let me perform with him. You know what I'm saying?
I like to smoke weed, geek like a Merkle. Sip some Ultra and smoke a little purple. Light a bonfire in the night, make it thermal. Been working all week, take a load off. Beer pong, hot boxing with a smoke off. She ain't hotter than the fire, make me hose off. We gon' cuddle up at the party with the clothes off. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Yeah, I can do this shit full time. Time to unwind, watch the stars disappear while we're waiting on the sunshine. Smoke a little skunk, get a little drunk. Bunch of blue collars in the field pulling up. We just here to have a good time, party all night until the sunrise. In a cold winter night with a fire so high, and a cute southern girl with some apple pie. We bout to roll a little up, tones from the truck, with a cooler full of beer and a cloud full of skunk. We bout to roll it here.
party in the woods, shivering cold, but I'm having a ball. Warm up when I hear that sweet southern drawl. Light some smokes, crack some jokes. Some are strangers, some my folks. Radio bumping, blasting jams, dancing with that southern girl, rubbing them yams. Back in Mississippi, I really enjoy drinking and smoking with ski mask, cowboy, weed and liquor. Got my head spinning round. I love when we roll it up and drink it down.
Cold winter night with a fire so high and a cue.
So it's real humbling to me.
Mm.
And he's just an all-around good-ass dude.
And that's amazing. And you know, I mean, and I think this is the whole thing, and the generic story. From, you mentioned Josh, and we shouted Josh out there and Afro Man. So my production team and me and Just Jazz, etc., over here start working with Afro Man.
Mm-hmm.
And we make the first record with Afro Man called Smoking. We did a few records. We've got a few records coming out as well, but we did Smoking, and Smoking charted and went to the chart. Now, when we're making this record, Josh is saying, you know, Rory, you know, have you heard of Ski Mask Cowboy? And he's doing well over here, but you know, maybe you've not. And we looked you out. And I liked what I saw. I liked the concept. I liked the idea. I liked the vision that you had. And we began working together. We made a few records as well, but we've now made a record called Country Boy Ballin.
Country Boy Ballin.
Yeah, that just got in the charts in the UK. So give me your reverse story of that. What tell me about it. Country Boy Ballin', here we go.
Country Boy Ballin'. Streaming everywhere. In all stores. Man, so after getting to know Josh, he was like, hey man, you ever thought about doing this? And I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, I'll take any opportunity I can get to further myself and my career. So he never told me who, he never told me anything. He was like, I got some guys over in Europe, they're gonna send you some tracks. And 3 weeks go by, I'm like, man, they didn't like my music, they didn't send me nothing. Then all of a sudden, man, I got this record. And man, that Country Boy Ballin', it just clicked. The record, the instrumental, everything just clicked whenever I heard it. And I was like, man, this has got to be that in your face song. Like just,
Bitch, I'm country boy ballin'. 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 Catch me in a Beamer riding dirty through the cut. Middle fingers out like I don't really give a fuck. I might smoke a pound of grass, I might get a little drunk, I might eat a little shrooms and probably fuck some shit up. In a back row, windows down, bumping boozy. Exotics on my feet, got the Wranglers with the Gucci. Roll around my neck, iced out with a ruby. My home's in my blood, cause I'm winning, never losing. Bitch, I'm ballin'. Bitch, I'm country boy ballin'. Bitch, I'm country boy ballin'. Bitch, I'm country boy ballin'. Thinking about the past and the shit I never had. Finally got a buzz, now I'm stacking up the bag and I'm ballin'. Bitch, I'm country boy ballin'.
Boy, thank you for coming on the RMN podcast. It's been amazing having you. We're looking forward to making some amazing records together with you. And, you know, it's been a pleasure, absolute pleasure having you on. So if you want to, you know, where can people get the record? Where can they see you?
so Ski Mask Cowboy, Country Boy Ballin, streaming in all streaming stores worldwide. You can get it on Amazon, Apple Music, stream it on Spotify, stream it on Deezer, iHeartRadio. It is everywhere. You will not miss it. Country Boy Ballin in the house. If you want to follow your boy Ski Mask Cowboy, you can hit him on that IG at Ski Mask Cowboy Official, or you can hit him on that Facebook, Ski Mask Cowboy. You can hit him on YouTube at Ski Mask Cowboy, or you can hit him on that TikTok at Ski Mask Cowboy Official. You heard?
Amazing, Ski Mask. Great speaking to you, and I'm sure we'll be speaking real soon. And but absolutely amazing.
Man, I have fun with you, man. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And again, thank you for everything, bro. And shout out to my people up in Europe that's streaming and put me at number 10.